And I think people tend to rewrite history trying to fit the narrative that they're in right now to justify where they are. And that's really important, because like, to not rewrite the history, because you can have a different perspective now. You can look at it and see it with different eyes, look back and see the past with different eyes. But it's important to not rewrite history. Just be like, hey, okay, I look at things different now. I've changed my mind. I don't believe the same thing or whatever, but like, don't rewrite history. Still own what you did and what you lived and how you felt.
Go to meribrown.com. MERI, brown like the color.com. I know it's going to happen when I change my last name. Ooh, maybe I already have.
Oh, Miss Davenport. Oh, wow.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, January 18th, 2024. Well, yesterday we did a video and we talked about Meri Brown's brand new boyfriend. And in my video yesterday, I said that I felt like Kody was going to run to the tabloids the same way things happened with David Woolley. Remember, Christine and David got together and everything was great, and then a series of bad presses got leaked through The Sun about David's late wife, and police reports were dug up. Then there was some 911 calls. There was all this like barrage of stories that were in the media about David for seemingly no reason, because we really didn't know him at that point. Well, yesterday I made a comment that I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a litany of stories getting planted about this new guy, Amos. And I made the comment that it wouldn't surprise me if Kody started, because he can't stand the fact that any one of the wives get good attention, get positive attention, and he makes it his mission to smear them. And part of a smear campaign for a narcissist is to use the tabloids, if they're famous, to put out content and stories that are not favorable to their targets. Yesterday, a lot of you in my comments made the comment that Kody doesn't care about Meri and he wanted her to leave and he didn't love her, and he said he made all these disparaging comments about her on the show. None of that matters in the mind of a narcissist, and none of that matters in the mind of a polygamist. Whether Kody wanted her to leave or not, it didn't matter to him. Kody viewed Meri as his property, and whether or not he claimed publicly that he was okay with her leaving, and whether or not he claimed publicly that he wanted them to be completely cut off, is irrelevant, because Meri has disclosed that privately Kody wanted to keep things status quo. He didn't want anyone to know what was going on because he didn't want the reputational damage. It was Meri that forced the issue and forced the conversation to happen publicly so she could leave. Had she not done what she did, Kody would have wanted her to stay. And why would he have wanted her to stay? Regardless of what he said about her on the show. Polygamous men get access to the money of their exes, even if they're not involved in their lives. If she stays, that means she certainly can't go on and marry another guy. Kody says that he's okay with her going on and marrying another, and he might not care about her, but he is going to care about any of the wives moving on, finding happiness, and finding it without him, because it makes his ego, it hurts his ego. His ego was built on the fact that I'm God's gift to women, okay? These are my opinions, by the way. I made the comment yesterday that I felt like a story was going to get planted, and I thought it might be a little bit harder because Meri did not give a last name. Well, like clockwork, this afternoon, I'm just doing an afternoon Google search for sister wives just to see if anything has come up, and boom, a story is out by In Touch. And it outs him, and it outs his last name, and it brings up a bankruptcy from the year 2000. Every single person that is going to come into this family is going to have a past, including Meri. Meri doesn't have the cleanest record, if we're going to be honest and we want to go toe to toe. Meri also filed for bankruptcy in 2005. Kody filed for bankruptcy with her in 2005. Kody's wives, Christine and Janelle, filed for bankruptcy. Janelle in 1998 and Christine in 2010. Multiple women in the family, Christine included, and Robin were on food stamps and received welfare while the show was filming. Meri was involved in a polygamous relationship which is an illegal, it was a felony under the law for the longest time in the state of Utah. It remains a felony in the state of Arizona once they all lived there. So Meri doesn't have a not shady history, nor does anyone. Nor does anyone in this family. They all were part of an illegal lifestyle. So the article headline is ridiculous. It says, "Money woes. Sister Wives star Meri Brown's new man, Amos Andrews, previously filed for bankruptcy." So you would think that this happened immediately or like recently. And here's where it goes. In Touch can exclusively confirm that Amos has a history of financial problems, and he filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in May of 2000 in Phoenix with his wife, Shannon Marie Andrews, who was listed as the co-petitioner in the filing. His case was closed after September 26th of that year, and Shannon was listed as discharged on September 8th, 2000. After filing his Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is referred to as liquidation bankruptcy, they must sell their property to pay back creditors, according to the courts. So a bankruptcy from 24 years ago is basically the best they could do. I was shocked that this was even a headline. If he had 4 bankruptcies in his past, it would not be any different than Kody. You know what I mean? They make it seem like it's a repeat offender issue. Like there is 17 bankruptcies. He has creditors that are calling and knocking down his door to this day. He's running from the law. He's got 100 lawsuits out against him for money. Nope, a bankruptcy from the year 2000. Why do I think that this is Kody that did this? Easy. Meri never gave a last name. There was absolutely no way to tie this guy to Meri. This is an unknown human. Amos isn't following Meri on any of her platforms. She didn't tag him in anything. You can't find this guy in any of her friends lists or her friends' lists. They were keeping this very quiet. And Kody might not speak to Meri, but he speaks to producers. And so he can call up a producer or he can call up someone on staff with Sister Wives to find out who this new guy is. And if the person in production wants to keep him and entertain his delusions, they can tell him. Remember how I told you that Kody has been pressing production for information on his exes, like wants to know what they're doing, what they're saying, where they're going, who they're with, what the kids are up to, what the wives are up to, and primarily it had to do with Christine and Janelle, but clearly it doesn't take a genius to realize, well, if he wants to know who this guy is, all he has to do is contact production because they're on the same show. This is why these women being on a show with him is dangerous, because he continues to be able to have access to their private lives, and he can pay people if he wants to, or he can, if he has relationships, he can manipulate people within the production to give him the information that he wants. Stalking of women that leave polygamy is not uncommon. In fact, I've spoken with experts and nonprofits that help people leave polygamy, and I've learned through them, through their rescues, that polygamous men will frequently put GPS trackers on cars, behind steering wheels, under the hood. They will slip GPS trackers into bags if they can. They will bug or get access to phones. They'll mirror phones to get access to their cloud. Polygamous men do not like to be left, because when they took that covenant marriage, they had this belief that that woman was their property, and they don't like losing their property, and they don't like not having the knowledge of what that person does. It doesn't matter if they like the person or not. It's property to the man. That's it. And they've lost the property. Stalking is one of the primary reasons that people that flee have to go into safe houses, because the men will track them down and make their lives hell. This is why domestic DV is such a huge problem with women that leave. It's a very scary time. So for Kody, he has easy access to do what he wants to do, because all he has to do is do it through production. He doesn't have to place the GPS trackers on them. I mean, who knows? Maybe he has, but he doesn't have to, because all he has to do is ask producers. And, you know, it is his show. He's the star. So it's just, you know, within it's 24 hours that we have a story out like this. It's not a coincidence, because the exact same thing happened to David. David was easier because she gave him the name, but the son got access to things that are not easy to get. Were not easy to get, and you would have had to have been tipped off to know where to find. Like, you would have to know there was a 911 call on a specific date related to a specific person at a residence for David to get that report. And that's how they got that report, because who would know that? Anyways, allegedly, my opinion. This is why Kody bothers me, because Kody can't just let her be happy. He's got to start smearing Meri. And even if he has 17 bankruptcies, even if he has 37 ex-wives, Amos is not an ex-polygamist who illegally sold weapons, got kicked out of gun shows for selling weapons that he would buy at the gun show, mark up a ton, then go to his booth and sell them to someone without running background checks. He has filed bankruptcy himself. His wives have filed bankruptcy. He has he's gotten liens and judgments, and he's gone through lawsuits. Kody was a polygamist that was running from the law for a while. He moves every few years because he's paranoid that the law is going to get him, because he's literally living an illegal lifestyle. Kody didn't claim his kids with Christine so that she could collect welfare and get food stamps so that he wouldn't have to pay for her. He still didn't ever claim her kids, which allowed her to also file for bankruptcy, which was a benefit to him because the debt, I'm sure, had to do with him. He contributed to the negligent accident of Dayton on an ATV, resulting in a massive medical bill that he used to threaten Robin's ex-husband into giving him custody of the kids, and then promised Preston, I'll forgive you this debt and pay it for you, but I'll take your kids. He married a woman that had over $30,000 worth of debt, 4 last names, 3 children, while his wife, Christine, had just filed for bankruptcy, and they had a home foreclosed on only 2 years before. Kody is not the picture of perfection, so he's like the last one to talk. And if Amos has 17 bankruptcies and 17 ex-wives, it's still better than Kody Brown. I'm just saying. Everyone has stuff in their past, and it doesn't matter what's in their past as long as their future isn't repeating the same mistakes. And having a bankruptcy in your past doesn't make you a bad person. A lot of people file bankruptcy, especially when they're young, and depends on what kind of industry that they're in. So Kody bothers me for that reason. And it's just, I know that he has a relationship with In Touch, because the family uses 2 sources to leak anonymously. One is In Touch, and the other one is to the Sun. They do interviews with people, and sometimes they do interviews with In Touch, but they do interviews with people. They never speak to the Sun, and sometimes they actually do interviews with In Touch. So In Touch has access to these people. So they can reach out and be like, hey, do you know anything about this Amos guy? It's, it's a 24-year-old bankruptcy. And now, because that story's out there, there's going to be more stories that'll come out. And it's just going to be the beginning. Kody is going to do whatever he can to make sure that Meri's new man is smeared so he looks like the good guy, because that's what matters to him. Just my opinions. I knew this was going to end up this way. I know it's only going to get worse. And Kody can continue to say all the time how much he doesn't care about Meri, but this is exactly why he cares. Because to Kody, it isn't about Meri, it's about his image. It isn't about Meri, it's about his ego. And Kody only cares about his ego. He only cares about how he looks. And being the good man is what he thinks he is. So everyone else that gets involved with his exes, he has to frame them as bad men. Because he tells himself that Meri left a good man. That's what he tells himself. Remember he said that about Christine? So he has to make it seem like he left a good man, so she must be with a bad man. Because naturally, why would she leave a good man? Because she's stupid, according to Kody. Kody is predictable. He is the same, he uses the same playbook of other narcissistic reality show people I know. I knew another reality show person, I'm not going to say his name, but he did the exact same thing to family members when he would get mad at them. And when they would get press that he didn't like, that was positive for them, he would then retaliate and plant stories on that family member. It's horrible. Kody knows how to play this game. His culture is built to smear and drive the bus over the women that leave. The women are supposed to look wicked and evil and awful, and the men do all of this to justify themselves and to reinforce their control over the ones that stay. So this isn't just about Kody doing this to Meri, it's also setting an example to Robin. And what Robin is seeing here is that if I leave, he's going to smear me like he did Christine. He's going to basically stalk me like he's done to all the other women. He's going to run to the tabloids about me. He's going to threaten me by saying he's going to take all my money, even though they have a legal marriage. He will use whatever he can to try to get what he needs and what he wants. If Kody is smart, he'll just let it go and move on and just be happy. I fear that the longer he does this, the more at risk the women become. For their own safety, I do hope that eventually they cut off all contact with Kody and that they are able to find a show without him or find a means to support themselves that is outside of the umbrella of Kody Brown and Sister Wives. I hope that at some point there is some legal consequences to Kody for what he does. I feel like these women are so conditioned to be submissive and are so afraid of the outside world from their brainwashing that even though they're out, they're still learning this world because they lived a certain way for all like 50 years, all of them. And they have to like learn how to navigate in this world. They still don't trust outsiders as much as you and I would. They still don't trust law enforcement. They don't trust the courts. They've been told everyone is bad. They don't even know probably what they could do to protect themselves. And that's what's sad to me, is that Meri should be able to enjoy this without having to deal with what Kody does. And if you want to say that I'm reaching and that you don't know that it's Kody, I just have seen this playbook a million times by narcissists. I know how this culture works with this cult and how the men treat the women that leave. I know that they stalk them. I've been told allegedly that he's doing this with production and fishing for information and using his pull on his show to stalk his ex-wives because he can't handle the fact that they left and that his anger has been making him unhinged. At some point, Kody needs to have consequences, whether it's legally, whether it's losing his job, whether it's an arrest. Something has to come down because he won't stop until there's a consequence. Meri deserves happiness. Meri deserves to be able to have a relationship. Her current boyfriend has a past. Everyone has a past. We all have things in our lives that we're not proud of. We've all made mistakes. We've all had failed relationships. We've all had financial missteps. None of that makes her current boyfriend a bad person. But the bad person is the person that is intentionally trying to hurt their ex by putting stuff out there like this, or intentionally trying to hurt their exes by using the media to smear them. That's a bad person. Meri and the other women deserve happiness, and I hope that at some point in time, Kody will finally face the consequences that he deserves. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye.